If you're considering starting a junk removal business, then you've come to the right place. I'm Lee Godbold with JRA, and we're going to show you how to start and grow a junk removal business. The truck. It's the most important tool for any junk removal business owner. Buying the right truck can make a difference of thousands of dollars on your bottom line every single year. To make sure you get it right, this video will teach you the do's and don'ts of purchasing junk removal trucks. Do I need to buy a truck? There are obviously some operations out there using pickup trucks and trailers. You can haul junk using a pickup truck and trailer, obviously. However, you will not be perceived as being professional or as professional as companies using clean, new well-lettered dump trucks. If you must get started using a pickup truck and trailer because you simply don't have enough money to get a dump truck, hey, I was there, then you should do so. However, you should save up the money you earn from that truck and trailer operation to purchase more capable professional dump vehicles. What type of truck should I get? Whenever I'm considering getting into a new business, the easiest thing to do is simply look at what the largest companies in that space are doing. These guys are not dumb. There is a reason why they do exactly what they do. So let's look at the top dogs in the junk removal industry. Obviously, you've got 1-800-GOT-JUNK, College Hunks Hauling Junk, and Junk King. Every single one of those companies uses a low cab Ford truck. We're going to call that an LCF truck from here on. These are your Isuzu N-Series trucks and your Mitsubishi Fusos. Absolutely great trucks for junk removal for the following reasons. First off, their handling. These trucks have an incredible turning radius of only 18.8 feet. This is almost identical to the turning radius of a Toyota Camry. For comparison, a 2020 Ford F-250 has a turning radius of 26.5 feet. Secondly, LCF trucks have great visibility. Since the driver sits on top of the front axle and there's not a traditional hood, the driver has a much better picture of where his vehicle is located on the road. The driver's position, size of the side windows, and extended truck mirrors equip LCF truck with better visibility than competing trucks in the same class. Third, LCF trucks are easy for inexperienced people to operate. The nature of the junk removal business involves younger and inexperienced drivers. LCF trucks will set up your younger drivers with a vehicle that's easier to manage than trucks of similar sizes. LCF trucks offer many choices when it comes to body style. For junk removal, however, a dump body is just about an absolute must. Without one, you will have to hand unload everything you pick up. If you've got a dump body, however, unloading requires just the push of a button. There are two legitimate alternatives to purchasing a dump truck. One school of thought argues that you should use a box truck. The second argues in favor of using trucks with a detachable dumpster body. If you have a business goal to donate, recycle, and reuse as much as possible, a box truck probably is the way to go, as the enclosed box protects the items from the weather. In addition, your employees won't be tempted to skip the donation center because they'll have to hand unload whether they go to a donation center, recycling center, or landfill. Those who argue in favor of detachable beds say there are three advantages. Number one is you can offer dumpster rental in addition to junk removal, all using the same truck. On busy days, you can drop dumpsters at clients' homes, and then you could send a crew around in a car to hand load them. You can drop the bin to prevent your team from having to load items into a high truck or climb up the side of the bed. This is going to reduce the possibility of injuries. Let's dissect these opinions. Yes, you can offer junk removal and dumpster rental all with one truck. However, you do not want a large truck for junk removal jobs. That means your dumpster size will be limited to at most 20 yards. A 20-yard bin can hold a lot of weight when packed tight, and with the additional weight of the hook lift, you will need to purchase the heavier-duty Isuzu FTR to avoid running overweight. An outfitted FTR is going to cost around $30,000 to $40,000 more than a traditional junk removal truck. Yes, you can make money with 20-yard containers, but your highest profit margins are actually in the 30-yard dumpsters. This is because people do not pack 30-yard dumpsters as tightly, so the increased rate you charge for the larger bins will be double the extra costs you will pay in disposal fees. Don't try to find a one-size-fits-all solution for junk removal and dumpster rental, or you'll end up with a truck that isn't great for either one. Dropping dumpsters at clients' houses while your crew travels from site to site in a car can work. It's not a bad strategy, but it only really works well if you have customers who do not mind if a bin remains on the property for a day or so. However, you will make a minimum of 3 trips to the customer's location to drop off, load, and retrieve the bin, which is going to eat into your profit margins. You'll find the benefits of operating just one truck will be offset by the increased cost of the FTR. Additionally, there will be some customers who do not want the bin left any longer than your guys are on site. The best reasons for getting a dumpster truck for junk removal truly is injury prevention and making loading easy. Heights and repetitive lifting of heavy items can lead to falls and injuries. If your truck team members will drop the bin on job sites, it will save them from injuries and save you money on workers' compensation. If this is important to you, which it should be, make it a policy that your team must drop the bin every single time they need to load an item that weighs more than 100 pounds. If you do not make this an enforceable policy, your guys won't always comply, and there are going to be times they get hurt, and you will spend all that extra money for absolutely nothing. Next, let's talk about truck size. You're probably thinking that bigger is better. Bigger truck, fewer dump runs, right? That is partially true. However, because you have to charge a lot more to fill up a large truck, it's difficult to explain to customers that they're getting a better deal. When a customer wants to book a job, they're going to call you up and they're going to ask you how much a full load costs. You're going to go through your price description and tell them your 40 cubic yard truck is going to cost, say, $1,300 to fill up. But your truck is 3 times the size of your competitors. You might as well have not even mentioned that last part. The customer's going to hear that 1,300 and they're going to quit listening and they're going to forget everything else. There are creative ways you can get in explaining this, but you will definitely lose out from time to time because you can't get the customer to properly understand your pricing structure. Larger trucks are also easier to overload. Even the 15-yard got junk trucks will get overloaded from time to time. If you get caught, you will face steep fines that will negate any financial advantage that comes from having a larger truck. This means you'll have to unload the bed before the truck is completely full, rendering the larger truck pretty much pointless. And finally, one of the best arguments against a large truck is the fact that it is, well, big. Remember, most junk removal employees are young and inexperienced drivers. Giving them a larger truck is going to increase the frequency of mistakes and the amount of damage caused when that mistake or accident occurs. Remember, you won't be driving the truck forever. You will quickly turn this task over to others, so make sure you give them equipment that can operate easily. We've determined that larger is not necessarily better. So what is the right size? The optimal size for a junk removal truck bed is 12 to 20 cubic yards. With smaller trucks, you can charge more per cubic yard at your upper price points than you can with a larger vehicle. Why is that? Again, customer education. Customers tend to focus on the price per full truck instead of the price per cubic yard. For example, our trucks are 15 cubic yards. We can set our price per cubic yard higher than a competitor with a 20-yard truck while keeping our full truck price below the competitors. If the competitor charges $600 for 20 cubic yards, we might charge $585 or $595 for 15 cubic yards. The competitor's rate is about $30 per cubic yard, and ours would be about $39 per cubic yard. But many customers will choose us because they believe we cost less. One downside of a 12-yard truck is that many customers will perceive it as small. Since many jobs involve between 12 and 15 cubic yards of junk, you'll have to leave the job site to dump more frequently. You'll need to charge more for these return trips, so your customers will pay more while your profit won't actually increase because of the extra time and expense of going to the dump. This can lead some customers to cancel once you're on site and have given the estimate. Based on these factors, we recommend purchasing a 15 to 18 cubic yard truck. The optimal bed dimensions are 10 to 12 feet long, 8 feet wide, and 4 to 5 feet high. The national junk removal brands use trucks with beds of these sizes. You should too. Should you go new or used? If you want to grow a large junk removal business, purchase a new vehicle. This is coming from a guy whose first 6 junk removal trucks were used. I'm telling you now, buy them new. It took me years to learn this, and I want you to do it right from the beginning. Buying a new truck when you first start will give you a huge head start to success. Why is that? First of all, new trucks mean increased uptime. As your schedule fills up, you will be pressed to complete all your jobs on schedule with a perfectly running truck. If your truck goes down, you're going to be forced to rent one. In addition to having to hand unload a box truck, which is going to slow you down and it's going to cost you more in labor, you will not look nearly as professional in a rental truck. Secondly, a new truck is a predictable expense. When a truck is new, you can easily budget for the monthly payments and insurance costs. However, with a used vehicle, you run the risk of incurring a large expense within the first few months of operating. A failure of a transmission, an engine, injectors, or fuel pump can force you to face an unexpected large bill. Thirdly, a new truck will give you years and years of dependable service. If you buy LCF Trucks, you should get around 3 years of pretty much trouble-free service, aside from some smaller issues that might come up with sensors, hydraulic lines, minor odds and ends, so on and so forth. While you'll foot the bill for some of these, the new vehicle's warranty will cover others. Even the repairs you pay out of pocket will likely only cost you hundreds of dollars instead of thousands for the used vehicles. These years of dependable service will allow you to operate consistently and to focus on growing your business rather than overcoming issues with your trucks. So how much does one of these bad boys cost? Simply depends on which chassis you choose. We recommend choosing a chassis with a GVWR of at least 17,950 pounds. That's a gross vehicle weight rating. That leaves you with the options of an Isuzu NQR, NRR, or a Mitsubishi Fuso FE180. All 3 of these trucks are great trucks. The Fuso, however, is the only one of these models with a gas fuel option. The gas truck will cost about $7,000 less than the diesel. A typical bed will run $17,000 to $20,000 depending on metal prices when you are ready to purchase. That means for a diesel truck, you should expect your total price to be in the $65,000 to $70,000 price range. For a gas truck, you'll be around $58,000 to $63,000. Differences in pricing is based on the cost of the bed as well as the price that you negotiate with your dealer, as well as year model changes. You're then going to pay sales tax, a title fee, and an additional amount based on the weight rating of the vehicle. Expect to spend between $3,000 to $5,000 for this during your first year. Both the diesel and gas options are great vehicles. The diesel engine will pull smoother and will handle hills better than the gas engine. The Isuzu diesel engine is rated for 375,000 miles, while the gas engine is rated for 200,000 miles. The purchase price for the gas truck is about $7,000 less. Maintenance costs and downtime will be lower for the gas engine as well. If you keep the trucks long enough to replace the engine, the gas engine is going to run you about $4,000 less to replace than the diesel engine. The long-term cost of the 2 vehicles is going to be pretty similar, but the gas engine tends to be less troublesome and experiences less downtime. Try not to purchase both gas and diesel trucks. Your drivers are going to get confused and they're going to put the wrong fuel type into that truck. When purchasing a new vehicle, get the Bluetooth option, powered mirrors, a rear view camera, and a camera in the cab. Don't trust all truck body builders to build a proper body. Contact JRA for guidance as we work with a few different vendors on both the chassis and the body, and we can usually get you a better price and a better body than you would be able to get on your own. A truck body build out will take around 3 months, so make sure to order your truck long before you need it. I've tried to convince you to buy a new truck, but if you decide to purchase a used truck anyway, check out TA Trucks in Pennsylvania. They usually have at least one used got junk truck ready to go. Also, browse Commercial Truck Trader and look for Isuzu trucks with got junk beds. Got Junk Trucks sell used for around $25,000 with about 150,000 miles or so on them. When you buy used, have the seller send you images of the odometer, the VIN number, all 4 corners of the bed, the tarp in the raised position, The dump bed fully raised, the frame rails, inside the frame rails where metal lines run, all the way around the engine and the bottom of the gas tank. Look for rusted fuel lines, heavy rust on the frame, heavily rusted hose clamps, and rusty brake fittings. Heavy rust like we're talking about here is going to make repairs more expensive, as what happens is those fittings and hoses break when they're being removed. That means longer repairs and more replacement parts. Have the seller send you a video with the sound of the truck starting up, then have them walk all the way around the truck recording how it sounds. Ask them to drive the vehicle while someone else records them driving. Listen for loud metal sounds from the top of the engine. Listen for slippage in the transmission. If it sounds smooth and the pictures look good, continue that purchase process. When you're ready to buy, make sure both parties sign an offer to purchase. Send the seller a deposit of around $1,000 for him to hold the vehicle until you can get there to complete the transaction. Ensure the deposit is refundable if you don't complete the transaction because the vehicle was misrepresented or has an unknown issue. Travel to test drive the vehicle and purchase the truck if it operates well and has no major issues. Negotiate a price beforehand. I have a trick I like to use for this. I'll bring a partial amount as a certified bank check and I'll bring the rest in cash. For example, if I'm buying a $25,000 vehicle, I'll bring a $20,000 bank check and I'll bring $5,000 in cash. That way, if I get there and I find something I was unaware of, we can negotiate the price down easily. Remember that you need to title the truck in the name of the business. You'll want to start looking to purchase an additional truck for about every $25,000 or so in monthly revenue. Purchasing your junk removal truck is exciting. It's a moment that makes you feel like your business is real. However, if you buy the wrong truck, that honeymoon phase is going to be extremely short-lived. Get a good, capable, reliable truck and it's going to earn you tons of money year after year. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click the like button and hit subscribe for more great content to help you grow your junk removal business. See you next time. Hey, why are you still here? Click subscribe and check out this other great content on the JRA channel.